It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
One of the things that I got into a conversation with about today with somebody on Discord, might even be watching, is Sebastian versus Khorus. And this is a pet versus hero discussion that it's obviously multifaceted, and it's going to vary a ton based on who you use on defense, who you use on offense, things like that. I believe that Sebastian is probably a top 3 most important hero in the game. In fact, when asked if a player had infinite money, infinite resources, I would say Sebastian and maybe Nebula are without a doubt the top 2 to 4 heroes that I would suggest everybody to level up. Like above Isaac, above Dante, obviously, above Kark, that should go without saying. I think Sebastian and Nebula are 2 of the most important heroes. And one of the main reasons, but not the only reason, is Sebastian's got this Ode to Serenity ability, removes all debuffs from the allied team, and conjures a shield that protects debuffs for the next 15 times. So it removes all debuffs and then protects from the next 15. So stuns, silences, charms, curses, energy drains, marks. There's probably a few more that I would lump in there as well. But we can't forget that Sebastian's got bonus critical strike for those that have the stat, and they get it from the ult. If Sebastian's ultimate is active, when Battle Song goes off, those heroes also gain critical hit. Striking solo, bonus pure damage whenever heroes critically hit. And then Public Idol starting the fight with bonus energy, almost 80% energy. It's more than that depending on the pet that you have. Sebastian is a good hero to have in many situations. And the pet Khorus is an alternative to Sebastian because of this ability right here. Enables each ally to block certain control effects. Silence, charm, blind, stun, mind control. Okay, there's a few that are missing from this list. Marks, curses, energy drain. There might be 1 or 2 more that I'm missing. So the reason why you use Khorus with Sebastian to help protect your team more against control effects. You use Khorus instead of Sebastian so that you can free up that hero slots for an additional hero, like another damage dealer or another support hero, like Nebula instead of Sebastian. For example, in the Amira, Nebula, Heidi teams, the Rufus Amira teams, a lot of those teams don't like to use Sebastian because they don't have room for Sebastian. So they use Khorus instead. And the same thing for like the Dante, Nebula, Orion Gus, all the Orion Gus variations. A lot of those use Khorus as well as a team pet because they don't have room for Sebastian. But we gotta remember that Khorus is just some of the time. It's 74% of the time if you're using the pet flag, which a lot of people do. 74% of the time, it works every time, but only on some control effects. But we can't forget that Khorus is only part of Sebastian, part of one skill. So whereas Sebastian's Ode to Serenity can be countered with a number of heroes, utilizing Biscuit, not utilizing Biscuit, stripping the Ode as we call it, right? This is guaranteed to block the debuffs, although it runs out until he ults again. Whereas Khorus will block all debuffs, or have a chance to block all of some debuffs for the entire duration of the fight, right? Khorus does a little bit more stuff, but by far Sebastian does a lot more. Battle Song, Striking Solo, Public Idols, whatever, right? After the initial ult, Public Idol doesn't really matter. So I think that both are very useful. And in different reasons. Just haven't really had a real, frank conversation about this. But I do think that Sebastian is slightly better at preventing control effects from controlling your team, as it were. But if instead of Sebastian you use Nebula plus Monkey, you get rid of certain effect controls. So Nebula does also remove some of the effects as well with Serenity. Nebula does do that as well. Doesn't protect your whole team, it just protects 2 heroes and only once every 16 seconds or something like that. But you're right, Cosmin. Once or twice, maybe 3 times a fight, yeah, she can remove some control effects. And I talk about this a lot. Using Sebastian, I think I lost that fight, but that's okay. So here's a good example. Using Sebastian on this team is kind of worthless if you attack into it with the right team. Like, for example, if I use IDH, let's say I use Astaroth, I don't know, Nebula IDH, just for the sake of it. I'm not saying that this is the team to use against that team. I'm just, who am I missing? Heidi. Right, let's say I'm using something like this team right here. You know, the pets or whatever. If I'm attacking into this team, then it's not really a waste because Zhu, Yasmin, and Galahad are still benefiting from Sebastian's other abilities. If this player used Khorus as a pet, then the pet would be completely worthless, right? If I attacked into this team without any control effects, Khorus would be completely worthless. So again, I'm not saying that Khorus is bad. I'm not saying that Sebastian is better. I'm just saying that they have different use cases. They have different use cases. What a lot of people do, and you used to see this a lot before Khorus was added to the game, is they would just slap Sebastian into any team. Like Sebastian was very common using the twins, Lars and Krista. Sebastian was very, very common. They called it the Trinity Twins. Somebody did, I don't know. If you didn't bring any control effects versus the Trinity Twins, then Sebastian was kind of worthless, right? Use Corvus or Helios. Yeah, I mean, my team is honestly too good. Like, this team is honestly too good. This general purpose physical attack team really has no chance against this team. Let's take a look at chat. No chance.